Sveicināti, dārgās ekscelences un godātie viesi. Man ir liels prieks jūs visus redzēt.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, our guests, I'm really glad to see you all today here in Lietuvas and to open today this event, which is joined for Latvia and Switzerland, a conference called Underground Waters Make Invisible Visible, and we'll concentrate today on meaning of groundwaters in our lives, their protection and sustainable management, and it is also dedicated to World Waters Day, which is 27th of March, especially for Aizkraukle region and its inhabitants. Ministry starts also new program, sanation of historically polluted sites in national level territories in Aizkraukle, besides all carrying out the cleanup of territories. And why this is a very actual topic, not only in Aizkraukle, in whole Latvia, we'll discuss about it, and why shall we solve such cases, such issues, such pollutions. That's why I'm glad to see you all, and especially local people. We'll hear opinion and stories of local people today to understand what can we do better for society. But now I give floor to Minister of Climate and Energy, Mr. Kaspars Melnis, for official opening of the conference. Good morning, Excellencies, dear guests. I have to say that water is one of those topics we don't think about daily because it surrounds us. And that's why I have to say we have been blessed here in Latvia, so we cannot appreciate it always. But if we look at the global scale, if we search for new planets, first we search for water. But remember our grandparents, when they searched for new place of life, they searched for water. Is there a chance to dig a well? And if there was no such chance, they didn't stay there. And thanks to the fact that in our country there were some opportunities, I have to say we are really rich with water. And this is one of those values we have to keep. And thanks to cooperation program with Switzerland, this is great value for us. In Latvia, we have over 3,600 polluted territories. You might say it's a lot. I would say so. These are sites that are challenging for us to prepare them, to make them better, cleaner for next generations. Because next generations are exactly the ones that will live here, they will create their own families, and one of basic conditions to live well here would be clean, pure drinking water. And I really hope that they, just like us, will not be forced to think too much about drinking water, only if thinking about making it more pure, leaving it more clean to next generations, to reduce number of polluted sites and just to make Latvia more beautiful. And finally, thanks to Switzerland for its support and to children of Aizkraukle region, because children are our future and they can give more life to anything that makes us thinking about what remains. Also thanks to Environment Service, Aizkraukle Region, Municipality, also our partners Latvenergo, and shall we have more projects together? Shall we have more beautiful Latvia to our children and grandchildren? Thank you, Mr. Minister. And I'm really glad that quite recently, June 2023, framework agreement was signed that started collaboration between Switzerland and Latvia in these topics, and continuing a successful collaboration of first period, we go on. And this program starts. It is called Sanation of Historically Polluted Sites, and I'm glad to give floor to Ambassador of Confederation of Switzerland, His Excellency Martin Michelet.
Dear Minister, dear Chairman of the Aizkraukle County Council, distinguished colleague, dear students, dear friends, I'm very pleased and honored to be with you here in this beautiful island that was created during the construction of the hydroelectric power station. This very place and Aizkraukle Municipality are strongly linked to water and stand for beautiful nature, rich culture and history, clean water, and of course, energy security. In reference to the topic, making the invisible visible, allow me two comments. First one, it's due to the difficult situation in the world, but freedom, democracy, rule of law cannot be taken for granted. This value may seem invisible, abstract, for some of us, and maybe especially for the young generation, but when his values are under attack, are at stake, they get even more visible and must be defended by all of us. And our country, Latvia and Switzerland, share these values, and this value unites us. Amen. The second comment is a bit more concrete, is about clean water. Often we take it for granted. We get up in the morning, open the tap, and clean water is coming. It's only when you don't have access to clean water anymore, when you cannot drink it, when it's not safe, then it becomes visible. March 22nd will be World Water Day. So let's take a moment to reflect on the fact that half of the planet population still lack access to safe drinking water. Continuing with water, here on the shore of the beautiful and majestic Daugava, I'm thinking about the moving award-winning Latvian film Flow, Straume, talks about water, environment, but also about working together. We are convinced in Switzerland that you cannot be safe or prosperous alone, and that you achieve, like a cat in the movie with the companions, much better result when you work together. And that's one of the reasons why Switzerland launched the second Swiss contribution, which support 13 European Union countries, among them Latvia. And this contribution is a tangible expression of our belief and commitment to solidarity and partnership with our European friends and partners. Through our contribution, we strengthen Swiss-Latvian bilateral relation at a time when cooperation and sticking together is more important than ever. Russia is continuing its cruel and illegal war of aggression against Ukraine, and our European community of values is facing unprecedented challenges coming from sometimes unexpected direction. Today we are writing a new page in our relationship. At the same time, we continue a tradition of working together on environmental topics. As soon as Latvia recovered its independence, Switzerland established diplomatic relations and started a cooperation program with Latvia. And already in the first decade of the century, with the first Swiss contribution, we started environmental cooperation with the cleanup of an important oil-polluted port section in Riga in Sarkan Daugava. So today we continue on this path and mark a new milestone in our cooperation. As the minister reminded, we are aware there are many more sites that needs to be cleaned up in Latvia and still need attention. It's a colossal task. However, we are convinced that the cleaning of this site in Aizkraukle is especially important now and for the future generation. Of course, for Aizkraukle community, for its nature, but also for the 700,000 people living downstream along the Daugava and in Riga, which depend for drinking water, and also for the nature in the Gulf of Riga and in the Baltic. It's also important for Latvia long-term energy security. So before concluding, let me take the opportunity to thank our Latvian partners, the National Coordination Unit, the Ministry of Climate and Energy, the State Environmental Service, the Aizkraukle Municipality, and also the other stakeholders, including Latvenergo. We are conscious that the bulk of the work still lies ahead and time is short. So let's continue working together. Let's take our destiny in our hands to safeguard Latvia nature, drinking water supply, and energy security for tomorrow and for future generation. Thank you again for hosting us and for your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency.
Thank you, Your Excellency. And as Ambassador mentioned, water is base of everything. Remembering this movie, sometimes world is united by water. We sometimes take it as granted, but in Latvia it could be a problem. But in this conference, we'll pay attention to what are issues in Latvia, to how can we involve in providing water protection and improving health of general people's health. So now I give floor to Mr. Leons Līdums, Chairman of Aizkraukle Municipality. Mr. Ambassador, Mr. Minister, ladies and gentlemen, participants, school children. Today we continue work on a joint initiative between Switzerland and Latvia during our program. Mr. Ambassador, it was my plan to use this example of movie Flow that you used before, because it is really great example and raises associations with that initially in this project we looked at our pollution issue like individually and we couldn't solve anything. But then recently we got this positive turn and we started to reevaluate our attitude, and we all came together in a joint project that is a successful project that might eliminate this threat to environment, to Daugava, to Riga, to Baltic Sea. In my hands I have a book that is issued by Daugavpils University, and it has rather poetic name in Power of Flow, but its topic is about content and physical features of water masses in different hydrological regimes using method of Lagrange. So book is entirely scientific and it is initiated by Daugavas Savienība NGO, led by Mr. Inārs Zebergs. He started to pay attention to questions regarding Daugava since the last of the years of previous century. So if anybody is looking for this book, 5 books will be available. Our joint work within next few years proves our initiative to solve environmental problems. Historical pollution is a challenge that requires solutions that are well targeted. With this project, we do important step towards more pure and more healthy environment that will be profitable for today's and future societies. Our responsibility is to care about pure and sustainable environment where our children and grandchildren will be able to live in a healthy and safe environment. Today, we not only look back to what has been done in reducing historical pollution, but we start to do more steps not to see oil products polluting Daugava River that might be influencing water sources in Riga and Baltic Sea. With this project, we started conscious and exact steps to make Aizkraukle region as a good example of sustainable management. And thanks to support of Switzerland, we are so glad that we'll be able to make these steps. And today we have children being present that have participated in this project. They've heard this story about difficulties that previous generations misbehaviors and misachievements have been creating. I'm glad to see drawings here. We can see understanding about processes in nature and meaning of water in everyday life of people. It makes me sure that in future such pollution will not be accepted and will be more successful and more efficient in this. Thank you, young generation, for your involvement. And also, I would say thanks to Ambassador of Switzerland for this amazing support. Thanks to that, we can say in Aizkraukle here we are proud to be your collaboration partners. And I'm sure that the work will start today, will leave positive influence to Latvian nature and our ecological system, as well as international relations of our countries. Thank you, and shall this project be successful. Thank you, Mr. Slīdums. He also mentioned our school kids. I'm glad to see them here as well. So before this program, Ministry organized creative and educative activities to school kids of Aizkraukle. It was expedition to polluted site and also drawings competition. Now you can see one of the best artworks. So enjoy the way that children see water, see ecological issues. And by the way, today, later we'll give awards to best drawings authors. By the way, to all of you that have connected to us remotely, you can see on YouTube, on Facebook, on profiles of ministry. If you look at this title of our conference, to groundwaters, to make invisible visible, but the one that can really do it is Associate Professor of Riga Technical University, pure water enthusiast, Mr. Sandis Deus. Hello, good morning. So thank you for inviting me. And I was really surprised to talk about groundwaters because in Latvia we have 5 hydrogeologists, and I'm not one of them. This number is surely insufficient, but definitely there are people that understand something about groundwaters. So, basing on their experience and knowledge, I would like to give you insight in reality that we meet daily regarding water supply and just from perspective of us, of inhabitants, and about potential changes in quality and safety in future. I have to say we are lucky that in Latvia we don't have totally unnecessary elements like gold, diamonds, or oil. This is total waste, totally unneeded for health and survival of humans. As Mr. Minister mentioned to us, is that something that our previous generations have been searching for is water. We are totally lucky in general scope of the world. We have very rich resources of water. We use only 7 till 10% of groundwater resources. Even if we might have 10 times more inhabitants in Latvia, it would be sufficient for them. If there would be World Olympic Water Games, we would be among leaders. As I mentioned, there is no such elements, and that's why our underground is entirely pure. What we sometimes meet is an iron. It's just unpleasant, it gives taste and color to water, but we are one of the most lucky people in the world because every second, every third inhabitant of the world having a sip of water considers will it pollute me? Will it kill me? Rather terrible thoughts. When did you have some such thoughts? I hope that never, because we are really lucky with these underground resources that are easily and broadly available. They are just a couple meters under the ground. In Arabic Peninsula, well, they have to reach maybe 1 kilometer to reach water. Yeah, our water is right here, but maybe we have to consider about it even more, especially in this week and day of water. What is in Latvia rather unpleasant, what seems suspicious to people. We don't have radioactive elements like in north of Estonia, where they are forced to use higher levels of water because deeper there's radiation. We don't have too much of fluorum as in Lithuania. It sounds healthy, but overdose concentration is still too high. Well, what causes unpleasant color and the smell to our water is iron. If you ever got slight injury and tasted your own blood, what your blood tastes like, it tastes like iron. So we understand that iron is quite needed element of our body. Therefore, iron is not dangerous to our health. What iron does with the water? Anybody having a glass of water, I can sip it in your glass. So we can see it gradually gives color and smell. Anybody who wants to try? So probably nobody wants to drink such water. This is practically only thing that we remove from water in Latvian cities and towns to make water more pleasant. One fantastic things that we don't do in Latvia. We don't add chlorum. So water tastes like water, and this is great privilege in European and global scale. So opening your tap, it doesn't smell like a swimming pool. Remember it. Still, we have to be very responsible for resources that we have, that our children, grandchildren, next generations will be living. And unfortunately, indications are that our underground resources are still vulnerable. So our colleagues working with researches about these waters, they have found out some rather unpleasant situation. And they have researched over 400 wells, rather shallow wells, and they found out that in about 84% of cases, they have discovered organic pollution or biopollution. So it means something from your sewage waters have been coming into drinking water. Well, using such water is not really dangerous for your life, but it's not healthy, that's for sure. So it means that shallow layers of groundwater have to be more protected. And it is important to check this water at least once a year. Because even if you care about protection of your waters, you never know about your neighbors or historical pollution. Another rather unpleasant vulnerability conclusion is about springs. Everybody might seem that spring water is the most pure, but unfortunately, researching over 60 springs, we have found different microbodies, remains of pesticides, and other kind of human-created pollutions. Therefore, spring is definitely not the safest point to get your water. So vulnerability, especially in shallow layers, is high. One of the good news about groundwater, especially farmers feel that ground level shakes, it raises and falls. In the city, we are more lucky because we use much more protected and much richer, deeper layers resources. So situation is rather okay. But these are a couple of vulnerabilities that we have to consider daily. One of the greatest vulnerability is about deep wells, where we drill really deep. These drills are between 40 till 650 meters deep. Unfortunately, biggest problem now, and that we should be solving together, is uncontrolled drilling. And unfortunately, there are quite many people, and maybe some of you have this situation as well. You have farm, that's okay. You have well, but is it registered? Maybe not. So there are many drills that are historical, or still, unfortunately, it goes on. Uncontrolled drilling goes on. So, but we don't know how many of them reach the same level as we take water for cities and towns. We should be paying more attention to what is drilled to these secure ground level layers. One other interesting fact that states that we should be working together, we don't know how many centralized water supply systems are there in Latvia. There is no number available. It sounds easy, but it's not available. So we have to make certain predictions, plans for future basing on data. So I would invite you all together to be responsible towards this great present that we have received from Mother Nature. And as I mentioned, quite a few inhabitants in the world have it, and to find solutions how to control water resources, how to control unfair people that misuse resources, and how to make life easier to those that are fair. And also to stop playing football between institutions and organizations. For your understanding, there is climate ministry, there is environment center, and then municipalities with enterprises involved, but there is also Ministry of Economy and Ministry of Health as well. And it could be also Ministry of Agriculture involved. So there are many parties, many sides that we should not be kicking those problems from one to another, but to solve it together, to provide security and quality of water in future. And in context of World Water Day, I would invite you all, Friday, that's tomorrow, to connect to another event remotely and to listen to many researchers' discussions of practitioners. We surely can ignore reality, but we can't ignore consequences caused by ignoring of reality. We have to find solutions together. We have to provide happy, or maybe happiest, country living in the world. Thank you. Thank you, Sanders. We started to get worried, like who shall be drinking this glass with water and iron. But actually, Sanders greatly explained what are main problems, and before we'll start discussion where you'll be able to ask questions, I would like to pay your attention to this video. This is information about the project, about the sanation of historically polluted sites, about what is going to be done, about the monitoring system that will be created after sanation itself, about life quality that will be improving, risks reduced to inhabitants, to their health, purification of water, soil, and providing more healthy future, healthy and clean Latvia and the Baltic Sea. And this is information about financial part of the project. And also organizations involved in this project. Yeah, in this video we could see well what is this story about, and also in discussion that we will carry on, and you'll be able to ask questions, because water protection is one of the most important topics in the whole country, and it is because that pollution in the water can be spreading fast and spreading in great area. So questions will be found in today's discussion that is called Problematics of Historical Pollution and Achievements for Society.
Are we going to do about it? Let us try to find out in today's discussion. Today's discussion is the challenges of historical pollution, the necessity of its prevention, and the benefits to environment and society. So the QR code then first of all is the one where you can follow the link and ask questions, or go to menti.com and with code 34318063, approximately for 40 minutes we're going to have a discussion, and for the last 10 or 7 minutes you will be able to ask the questions. Now on this stage I am welcoming State Secretary of Ministry of Climate and Energy, Rudīte Vesere, State Environment Service, Andris Ķēniņš, Aizkraukles, Deputy Chairman of Aizkraukle City Council, and Technical Director Arnis Sēģele of Hydroelectric Plant. And here you probably noticed that this is Rudīte and 3 Andris, someone in this discussion. Then you have all your own specifics, then this is why I will not mistaken you, and this is why we also invited to participate in this discussion, specifically you. But then let us begin with a question: what does it mean, historical pollution? Then what is the solution that was left to us by the Soviet Union, and what kind of pollution are we talking about specifically? Rudīte, then maybe you can begin. Hello everyone, I'm glad to see you all here, and I'm glad to have this project initiated. And if we talk about the historical heritage and pollution, then this is a rather serious problem. If we are talking about the register of potential polluted places and sites, it's very serious. It's more than 3,600 sites, more than 250 are the ones which are actually polluted. The others need to be surveyed, and we need to understand how much pollution is there, what is the area, and what are we supposed to do to remediate it. And of course, this is the heritage which comes from time when we didn't think about sustainability, when the society thought very much more short term. Anything they didn't need, they just spilled somewhere or just took somewhere, didn't think about the consequences. There were various chemicals, and they didn't think about what is the synergy and what can be then the consequences, what can be created from it. So that aggravated the problem. Very often we don't know what is exactly there on these sites. Even if we do survey and for the chemical composition of these things, we still need to then research what to do further. And again, when we start moving it, we need to get rid of it. We need to remediate the place and return this place for the economy and for the society. It's very important that these are territories where there are various chemical pollution, chemical waste, very different. And if it is in the soil, then this spread isn't that fast. But if it comes to the groundwater, but again, if it is in the soil, then it will eventually go to groundwater anyways. And then if it's, first it's with surface water, and then it goes to the Baltic Sea, which is we shouldn't allow at all. And the quicker we can get rid of this pollution, remediate this solution, just as we were speaking, making the invisible visible. But I will go even one step further, not just making it visible, but taking care of it. And so there are many advantages to such process if we do it. From the environment point of view, from the community point of view, we need a qualitative clean water we can use for drinking, first of all, but also for other processes. And we have a more healthy society, then water is available for recreation and economy. Everything, like all these 3 pillars, we can move together and obtain the result, as the previous speaker said. Then we are able to speak about more healthy community, and we can be thinking about next generations. Mr. Tēniņš, does the society understand how serious this problem is? Because here in the conference we are aware, but does the community think the same? Well, let's begin with, I will say hello. First of all, thank you for your invitation. I'm really glad for this program and the development, and I'm very thankful to the colleagues from Switzerland and people of Switzerland for support. But are we aware? I don't think so. I don't think people understand how serious the problem is, not only in the society, but I think that for a very long time, we as a country have not been aware of this problem. We have reacted to one or another facet of this problem. But as the colleagues mentioned, once again, this is more than 3,600 sites. We do not have any special program in place or especially specifically planned scenario or an aggregate of activities what we should do. We need to be thankful in this case to Switzerland and to also other partners who have assisted us with solutions for us not to make this, well, for this site not to become a catastrophe environmental. So I am very glad to have here with the Ministry also discussion with the Ministry of Climate and Energy, because we have then addressed this problem very seriously. Not only do we have in place, or we are introducing the system of these sites of pollution, but we are also looking into the future about the opportunities to increase the capacities of the respective services and think about the attraction of funding for remediation of such sites and places, for it to be, and for this reclamation to be some kind of a just common everyday process for us, and we can make Latvia cleaner. Mr. Zālītis, so Aizkraukle specifically is in this place now under the radar, so to say, or in focus. What do you say about it? As you see, there are so many places like that, but Aizkraukle is a priority. We have heard Aizkraukle word being spread very broadly now. Aizkraukle does feel like very responsible, but thanks to Switzerland's support now, we will be able to also implement this process of reclamation and also not to endanger the Baltic Sea. If it spreads, I mean, it can spread eventually to the Baltic Sea. But if we look broader, then we are using the term called historical pollution or site of historical pollution. So if I remember correctly from history, then European Union does not use this historically polluted site. Maybe someone else can comment, but as we have these sites and so many, then we should, I mean, in Estonia they definitely are present, and in Lithuania, then maybe we could cooperate and have it introduced in regulatory acts of the European Union to introduce this definition, and then we can address more attention to it and more broadly and take care of these places more coordinated. So, yes, well, history is, well, how far ago do we look at? Yes, well, Switzerland uses this term without any regulatory acts or with, but I think this is how we can start movement in this direction and decrease the number of these sites. And now, talking about the present now, what Latvenergo does or plan to do to reduce the risks of pollution in Daugava and the Baltic Sea, as we are speaking now here very much. So, in this conference, good afternoon, or good morning. I have to praise the companies of Latvia working with this for this event. In 2017, we surveyed the constructions underground for sewerage. We see that this pollution has migrated dangerously close to Daugava, and we have addressed all the services and institutions and also to municipality. We are very glad that we have been heard and we are all involved in this, and we can be working now together. We are moving on, and we have once again, we have participated. There have been research programs, and both our monitoring system is being constantly monitored. And we are talking about and looking at the oil contamination. We are also surveying the drainage systems in Daugava. It is also now equipped. It is such that it prevents pollution spreading into the river. Daugava then let us also wait for having this place of origin to also be sorted out and also remediate the site. And also this construction underground for remediation, it also has given us the time, because it prevents oil product or oil pollution migration to the river Daugava, because there is certain drainage path, 50 meters path, which we collected. It's like a collector then between the stream and Daugava. And if we didn't have such construction, then most probably this contamination would already be in Daugava. We would be fighting it in a different way. And so, okay, it is clear that we most probably understand what's going on when in the soil or in groundwater the pollution goes into. But then what should we actually fear to understand that it's a serious problem? What actually happens at this very moment? So if I will now tell you the chemical composition of these things, I don't think that you would fear, because you would not probably understand. But once again, the problem is that this is the chemical compounds that can go into waters and in various ways, in different compositions and form. And it's clear that part of them are insoluble. They simply migrate and they don't disappear. And for a certain time it gets concentrated. So if it goes into soil, then this process once again is slower. Then if it goes to groundwater or surface water, and then once again, if it is in water, it never disappears anywhere. It only spreads and spreads farther, which means that in reality there's a big risk of us just absorbing in our bodies, but not only us, the people, but also fish and ecosystems to consume. So it's clear that if the ecosystem itself is polluted, then there is no future for both nature and us, the people, because we are one of the elements of the environment. So, Mr. Tenish, what does it mean? What does it mean, remediation? Then one option was that, for example, let's stop the pollution or somehow. But can you maybe then somehow highlight what is the plan in relation to the site here in Aizkraukle? So the methods are different. They are being applied depending on the type of pollution, on the intensity, on density of the pollution, and on the environment where it all is. Currently, we are discussing that part of the pollution which is here in Aizkraukle, it could be stabilized here on the spot, so meaning the soil which is contaminated, it could be mixed with other chemical compounds, and we can have such like a concrete place with concrete mixed in, and it doesn't go anywhere. And the place where it's more contaminated, where there's more density of this contamination, then this is taken away, and the solutions are various. Then once again, we can burn it, we can also store it somewhere. These are the primary things or options we see here in Aizkraukle. But how much it is going to be done and what is going to be done, we are still discussing and thinking. And so the next question is for everyone, but I will start with Mr. Zali. What do you believe, what is the sites of pollution, their impact on the economy of Latvia? So how does that impact, for example, economy of Latvia and companies? And if we look at Aizkraukle, we're talking about the particular territory, of course, but the types of pollution vary. I think we should also split them to understand whether it's agriculture, whether it's industry, and then we go to the, for example, well, and private home constructions where there are certain points of pollution only, but then if we put them together more, then it's more local. Then we go to some little river, we go past it or by, or maybe some agricultural territories, we feel already something flowing. So the impact is such that you do feel it. I will not be like a professional, but let's talk maybe pesticides, of course, also has impact. I don't know if there are researches, but should be, of course, and this is why we're also discussing this. And this is when we can list, well, for example, how much you can apply to 1 hectare, how much are not allowed. Then there are industrial risks, and then there are risks again that go back to these private homes. So we see these numbers compound, but we will never be able to measure, for example, how much water we are lacking, because currently it is enough for all of us. Yes, so it's as if easy, but not so easy. So, but Mr. Zalidis, then if we talk about the economy once again, that what you found in 2017, if I'm not mistaken, it was 2017, then how it has prioritized the territory of Aizkraukle here, this site specifically. I think definitely so. Actually, any site of pollution, and this one too, is invisible. Nobody goes to this degraded territory, which is now enclosed. Nobody from the society sees it. And when we highlighted this issue, then we found this 250 tons of oil pollution, and it migrates to Daugava. Just imagine what harm can it cause? And of course, colleagues can speak more, but if we talk from this perspective of Latvia Energo, then this is Pļaviņu hydroelectric station here nearby, and our drainage system construction is not just simply some kind of our desire. This has an impact, a significance for ensuring the stability to this site on the right bank of the river. And then if it spreads so far that the system cannot be efficient anymore, it can endanger the stability of the river bank and also production of electricity, which for Pļaviņu hydroelectric plant is, well, of course, important. I remind you, you can ask questions. I think we have one question now. You already mentioned somewhat. So, for example, let's say the contamination goes to Daugava. Would it be the biggest environmental catastrophe in the history of Latvia? It's actually a really good question. Maybe that is something that makes people think of what the consequences could be. And now, let's say how much of that pollution goes to Daugava. It depends on that, and whether we then would be able to block further contamination going into the river. We cannot say for sure. We need to see what kind of amount of this pollution or what kind of concentration of this pollution reaches the river. But I will say for sure, we should not allow this catastrophe to even happen. So that is why on this stage where we see this source of pollution, we have to do everything in our capabilities to stop the contamination and then clean the territory as much as it is possible. Because there was one question also, what does it mean? For example, historic contamination, pollution to our economy. You said the impact on the economy. We speak from different perspectives. One is, once again, this chemistry and chemical processes that occur, and if it goes to the environment, how it impacts the diversity of nature. But how does that affect a human? Their ability to work, their health, their involvement in the economy, and the territory itself where the pollution is. So thus, we cannot use then fully the territories for economy But if there was no pollution, we could. And so let us continue then. Maybe someone has asked then, what methods and instruments can be applied by the state and municipalities not to allow such contamination to go into environment in the future? I will comment, but for us to have this, once again, broader story and impact on the economy, to add, Mr. Deus showed us the image. We're taking water, from groundwater, for drinking. Let us imagine there are certain substances that go there, heavy metals, and we then find that this water is unusable anymore. So in certain territory, we cannot use it for food industry, for drinking, for production. So that is direct impact to the economy. And at the same time, there are very many objects we have found that are located in active zones of economies like ports or industrial parks. And they have been also historically polluted. And the possibilities of development for these territories, unless or until they're cleaned, are limited. So all these aspects, health of human beings, ecology, all of these aspects have to be, once again, summed up together. We can't calculate a certain impact. We can just play around with speculations what would happen and what we would do if from the just possibility of using that water, certain territory is being excluded. That is how we can talk about the significance of the impact. Well, once again, this is not, this is a reality. We're not trying to fear someone. Yes, this is just awareness of how serious this is. And the question, how to, for example, prevent it. Those who use certain pollution, like pollutants in their industry, in their business, to do it legally with licenses, and all the regulatory acts should be applicable, and it does provide for what they do, then there is no risk. And we, as the Environment Service, we go around looking if it is being done correctly, and if it isn't, then we also address them. We make them, force them to remediate, and maybe we can also punish. But another thing is historic pollution. And why is it? Or why is it like historical pollution means it has no, so to say, origin. There's nobody we can hold liable and ask for them to clean it. So historical is the one we need to survey very well. We need to understand its impact, because currently it is as if like unattended. We know, yes, there's a site, it is registered, but how much there is inside, down under, is there maybe some groundwater close to it, some sources close to it or not? This is what we don't know, but this is now we, together with the ministry, work very actively towards. Thinking about what you said, that it is unattended, that also being responsible for anything. And I think that Latvia Energo here shows us how important it is to be responsible, be it historical or not. So how do you see that informing the society, educating the society for us each individually, and on the level of businesses for us to take this responsibility? Maybe Mr. Zēģelis can comment. Well, this is any institution, any service that is responsible question to create some databases. Well, it's actually now public, but not only that, it is informing, it is showing, raising awareness that everybody can see it, adding, supplementing these lists and information. This is the measure we need to improve in any way. Yes, it's true. Our service has created the system of the polluted sites being an instrument intended for the society to be able to see on a map the registered site. So meaning every citizen can have a look at whether there is something next to their property, or maybe if they see something suspicious, then they can find out whether it is already registered. If not, then they can report to the Environment Service. We are here, once again, within this process, it has been always a question and yet not prioritized. But now, for a couple of years already, we are very actively working with this topic. We see our own responsibility and the necessity to be speaking as broadly as possible, then take care of the infrastructure, then to put it on the maps. And now we are also going to go to the municipalities, because we don't possess all the historical information about polluted places, sites, but maybe there have been historically also some smaller dump yards, but they have already been cleaned, and then the municipality was responsible for monitoring them. Now we're going with the initiative to the municipalities to actually provide us all the information for us to be able then to register it all in the system and as if find out about them, so to say, completely until the end. So if it's more than 3,600 sites, well, potentially, I don't see it, of course, doubling, but I think it's going to be quite much more. And so the map, you said, publicly available? Very beautiful. I mean, we could then see this is also this raising awareness and then informing, which then also means the involvement of the society. But we have another question from a viewer. You can ask for another 5 minutes because we are nearing the end of the discussion. But then the question is, what could be the development plans of Aizkraukle Municipality regarding the cleared territories? Because in the competition we had, and we will have presentations also from children, but what were the plans previously or maybe currently? So we are talking about some recreation sites. There's also a law on financial control, if I'm not mistaken, that's what it's called. And reclamation currently does not allow us to use the territory for commercial purposes. If we're talking about recreational sites and locations, we need to make it available for people and to do it all. And after the remediation, there will be a lot of work, apart from mandatory monitoring. But yes, we're talking about recreational territory. And I think that it's going to be very interesting to see how the children see this, what are the needs. But then, once again, I'm so happy that young people are part of the conference today. I also see you being very active with your questions. Then the question is, State Environment Service and the Ministry of Climate and Energy, do they have sufficient capacity to monitor the potential sources of pollution? I think I will give this floor to Mr. Tenic, because this is the State Environmental Service. Ministry is the one to make policies and regulatory acts they develop. But the question is, how we not allowed to create new such pollution sites? We are aim-driven approach. Someone who pollutes is responsible for their activities. They have limitations. They have certain KPIs they need to also meet. And as it is internationally, they also need to apply the principle that the pollutant is the one to pay. Meaning being responsible financially for everything, also for research, and also for the work of remediation if it is necessary. And so, once again, let's see if there are such pollutants, if there are such companies, industries, they do not want to exceed any limits, and for various reasons. That's their image, prestige, and it's also very expensive because they're still responsible and it never goes away.
Yeah. Currently in Latvia we have about 12,000 polluters. Of course we can't reach each of them, but I believe that most of them are lawful companies, and we see it, and our service has certain capacity to follow certain cases. Of course, something can slip away from us, but we can see, we are sure about our capacity, we can cover our territory, we have experience and knowledge that is sufficient, so we can react in cases that some actual pollution happens. But what we are missing is more like financial capacity, is to research, to find out historical pollution, to understand what is under the ground. This example of Latvenergo is great example because they found it themselves and they turned to you and asked what to do. But our time is almost over. One more question: how research of polluted sites will be done and utilization of soil will be done? Yeah, this is what I answered previously. Regarding Aizkraukle case, we have done all the drilling, researching, about couple hundred drills to research what is below the ground level. We have idea about volume, and when procurement will be over, tender will be over, we'll know the company doing that, and together with that company we will evaluate how to store, how to tackle this problem, and what will stabilize right on the site. Yeah, question was probably about what happens to what is transported away. I would like to speak to society. Yes, we know this is a high-risk object that we have to consider, but this problem didn't appear suddenly. The first researches were done in 1996, and we have developed, we have stepped ahead. Recently, we did 55 out of 96 drills because we found out that pollution doesn't move further. We do control twice a year, and we leave it in hands and minds of professionals to do stabilization. We know that pollution moves slowly, slightly direction to Daugava, but we control the situation. So after this panel discussion, I'm pretty sure that there are eyes and minds on this situation, and in our future we will solve it in Aizkraukle in Latvia. Once more, participants of discussion panel representing different organizations. Thank you again for joining us, and I'm so glad for these knowledgeable people. And thank you for your questions. We can see what is actual to our audience. But now it's time to find out what are initiatives of municipality on local level connecting to water and development. And I think NGO Aizkraukles Partnerība is a great example. They do development of these territories with ELFLA offered opportunities. And so, chairman of this NGO will tell us more, Ms. Anda Paura. Hello everyone, I'm glad to be here together with you, and I will tell you a little bit about our great work about Daugava River, what is the influence and what we do for society. Aizkraukle Partnership is one of 33 local Latvian action groups, so we are one of them. Our strategic framework is 23-27 rural development events, strengthening communities and strengthening development locally. So our strategy has one important point: how to use our beloved river Daugava. So our strategy consists of strengthening local economy, having 3 action steps, and one of the most important horizontal priorities going through all of that is climate neutrality. So in our criteria, we evaluate a project whether it leaves positive influence to environment. Then we have for country communities initiatives where they can come up with their ideas and to prepare public infrastructure. And also we have international cooperation. If anybody has a good idea regarding this, we can make such international collaboration projects. We have had collaboration projects regarding Daugava with Ogre and Jēkabpils areas in previous planning periods, so we are open to collaboration. Our strength, I believe, is our river, our history, our culture, our beautiful Sēlija land, left bank, where there are very strong communities and many great ideas coming up. And of course, this place we are here today is our treasure. As I mentioned, we are trying to be climate neutral in all the projects, and we are and we influence it. We put it all in our strategy, and further we stress it in our projects. So we're proud of our Daugava river, our projects. We have done 4 projects regarding boats, little ships. Right next to this garden, this park, there is a ship Gulb is one of them. There are in Aizkraukle and Kalnapoti, there are different touristic activities done on the river bank of Daugava. There is well-recognized cultural site, couple of our concerts. Next to ruins, there is development of water sports. NGO Persis Krasts that raises and tells to society history and culture, as well as guest house, another guest house. These are all leader projects. We see more and more pictures about tourism development. We have very strong communities in Sēlija area across the river. And, I'm a farmer myself. I have my own farm. Before I lived in a city, and when I moved to countryside, nothing like that happened within 10 years. This is June of 2020. This is biologically valuable meadow. It is all in flowers. And then June 2023, when May was very dry, and this meadow turned into this. Economically, it influenced us really badly, because we have animals that we raise for meat, so water is really important for us. And if we hear that groundwater is sufficient this year, I would say in our farm it's low. If you live in a city, it's self-understandable, you just open your tap, but living with nature in countryside, it's different. And also great issue for guest houses is that if they are situated next to the river Daugava, these fluctuations of level because of power station are sometimes problem for them. Thank you, and glad to see perspective of locals. But of course, water is the key key word for us today. As we see, it's not available to everyone. Would it be just a tap or a well? And now about how Aizkraukle Municipality provides drinking water. Miss Gudruna Vetren will tell us more. Hello everyone. I represent those people that provide city with drinking water and to collect their wastewater. So I would like to say water doesn't know borders. It requires international collaboration. It's a story about that we all know what is water, how important it is. And of course, groundwater has no borders that would be closed at the Latvian border or at the border of Aizkraukle Municipality, and nothing can influence it. We know it's not so. We know that from school times studying some physics, and we know that humans, we all consist of water for 75%. According to statistic data and studying how people use water daily in a city, it's about 2.5 till 3 cubic meters per day. Monthly consumption is quite fair, but without a great economy. But to be able to use it, Aizkraukle Municipality has this municipal organization called Aizkraukles Ūdens, that it translates into Aizkraukles Water, that started 1989 as a separate company, and we got this name just not that long ago. There are only 18 people working together. So half of us care about, part of us care about drinking water, others sewage water, and of course general administration. We are part of a professional association and one of founders of this organization. Our job is seemingly rather easy. We provide water to city and village, and we collect what remains. And from last quarter of last year, we expanded our territories into Serena municipality. We have also collaboration with providers. We also can serve to apartment buildings. In our municipality, we have 6 wells, purified water. After removing iron is supplied to people. Systems are not connected on both sides of the river. Regarding sewage water cleaning systems, they collect all the sewage waters from city and from areas, from villages. And we charge people 3.26 euros per cubic meter plus tax. We are self-efficient. We bind state or municipality budget only for infrastructure improvement or some emergency situations. Annually, we provide about 400,000 cubic meters of drinking water, and sewage water cleaning changes a lot. because we are also bounded with the rainwater collection, so we are influenced by nature. Regarding groundwater, we provide it only from groundwater. Last time we reviewed how much groundwater we have. It was 1998, and our city got a certain limit of 4,000 cubic meters per day, but resources more than 2 times higher. And recent years it had decreased. It's about only 1,000 cubic meters. We are controlled not to exceed this limit given, and also to maintain certain quality of drinking water. That's why we do certain monitorings. And the only thing that people don't like, as you heard before, it's iron. And that's what we're trying to remove. If you actually, to get good groundwater, it's not easy, it's rather complicated. We have a pretty big amount of paperwork with 4 different institutions involved. And as I mentioned before, last time that 98 our reserves, our resources were reviewed regarding our city and the region around, I have to say this data is not stored locally. There was Service of Geology that was closed, and functions were partly taken over by another institution that keeps off the archive. But currently, as we heard in the first presentation by my colleague, there are only 5 people that are experts that are able to make this hydrogeological expertise. And this research that contains of about 150 pages can be done by a professional only. And in my opinion, it isn't good that this information is not centralized, not controlled. So therefore, we heard it before as well that there is uncontrolled drinking. The well is used for a certain time, then it's abandoned, and we don't know what can be happening. Maybe nearby there is some farm or some oil pollution. So controlling institutions should be paying more attention to that. So to remove iron from drinking water, in the framework of international collaboration, we have built a special purifying station that was opened 2022. Danish resources were greatly binded to this project. You can see the data. We obtain iron water with iron content 1.7 milligrams per liter, and the final result is 0.02. So investors can be happy that technologies are used and money is not wasted. And again, regarding wastewaters, we collect it into 6 pumping stations that provided to sewage water cleaning systems that were also built together with a Danish support. And starting from 2001, Aizkraukle sewage waters are purified, and there is a date on your screen showing how much we purify it, and here we can say we can be proud of that. And also institutions and our friends abroad have made reasonable investment, so the river turning back to river is on good quality. Last year we also developed a solar power station that helps to our sewage water cleaning systems. These are projects you see on the screen that were supported, and they have very big importance for water communal system to work in normal way. We have ambitious but very simple future plans to keep up everything that we have, to prepare all the necessary documents and to make this paperwork system more easy, and we are going to find solution for what to do with wastewater mud. This question is important in Latvia, but not only, in Europe as well, and we are also the ones producing the mud. And I'm proud of my colleagues, my people, because not everyone is ready to work in such area. As you know, we inform children and youth as well, and the first reaction before they see, we have to use protective gears to protect ourselves, but when they come to sewage water cleaning system, they are pleasantly surprised because there is no smell. Well, there is a certain point where they can get a real smell, and that is quite impressive to them. Well, but to use water economically, there are certain advices how to do it. As representative of my enterprise, I would say, no, don't economize water. As more you use it, as cheaper it will be. Because for me, it's not important whether you will drink 1 liter or 3,000 liters per day. But thank you for your attention. Thank you, Ms. Vesterana. And when you told us about youth attending sewage water cleaning systems, I have to say it's an adventure, and I would suggest to every school kid to see how great work is done for us to have pure and good drinking water. And I think NGO Daugavas abi krasti, both banks of the river, are the ones knowing, because they organize events on both banks of the river. They do sporting activities, and I think member of board Jan Zarinch is the right person that can tell us more about water and entrepreneurship. Hello, everyone. My name is Jānis Zariņš. I represent, as it was mentioned, NGO Daugavslavy Krasti, member of board, and at the same time, captain of this tiny ship called Balta Kaza, that means white goat, and also a leader of water tourism center with the same name. I ask usually why the white goat, because goats have nothing to do with water. You see, this name was picked because of Latvian poet Aleksandrs Čaks, and he wrote this poetry cycling from Riga to Jaunjelgava. He swam in the Daugava river. In his way, he laid in the grass on the riverbank to try, and he fell asleep, and he awoke by goats, number of goats that surrounded him. And this emotional influence caused the inspiration for this poetry. Maybe you know this poetry, which is about small town whose symbol is the white goat. So this is how we picked our name. We started 2016. Here we got presentation from Ms. Alda Paure, and she represents NGO Aizkraukles Partneri. With her support, we wrote first project to this boat. So we started our activity in site of former ferry that started actually in 16th century. So since then till today, in such a place there was a ferry, there were some boats. So when we got this territory on side on Skriveri, we got rights from municipality to do business activities. We found out this area has been turning into a swamp. There were fallen trees. The only trail that led to ferry was full of different kind of waste. But place was very perspective. Swimming in the place was dangerous because there were certain holes on the river bottom. I experienced one of them. Talking about pollution, so every year a river flooded, coming with spring waters. It carried certain pollution that cleaning up 10 square meters, we got about cubic meter of waste, like bottles, etc. So think about what amount of pollution, what amount of garbage we collected in beginning of our activities. And also from the tunnel that leads from Klizine to our ferry, we also carried container of garbage. Organizing public cleanup, we collected giant piles of garbage, really. But initially, people's attitude wasn't really nice, because next weekend we got a new garbage dropped here and by our own people. But their attitude has changed. So now maybe we clean it up just a little bit, 2-3 times per summer season, but it's incomparable. So I think people's understanding changes, everything goes to better. And now it's 9 years, 9 seasons since we started to work there. And so we have managed to create like oasis, 500 meters long coastal line that is well developed. Pier is developed. We have a prepared little coffee house as well. So well developed infrastructure. And we're looking forward to have new projects. This year will involve youth much more, because quite many people, especially in cities, they don't know. They're not able to recognize kinds of fishes, kinds of trees. They don't recognize birds. And so this year we are going to create, basing on experience that we obtained with our trips abroad, we'll create for youngsters educative stands regarding knots, regarding woodworks, regarding recognizing species of birds. So their visits in our site will be more educative, more attractive for youth, for children. We have also 500 meters walking trail. So we will try to make this walking trail full of attractions to make it more interesting for children. So what we offer in short is actually ferry services crossing the river. We offer boat trips. We offer to rent different kind of boats, subboards, rafts. And we offer attraction of water skiing. We offer tent places, boat slip. That was very difficult for us, but we made it within 2 years long project. A bicycle rent, sunbathing equipment and sites. And same time we can provide with water relaxation equipment 160 people. That's quite impressive, I believe, and we made it all thanks to leader projects and Aizkraukle partnership developing this territory that is given to us. And I have to say, this business is not easy. It is work and time consuming. The active business season is 5 months, at least 16 hours per day. We attract youngsters a lot, mostly because of tax burden. We cannot afford to employ adults because we know that our buying capacity in Latvia is not very high. That's why we use youngsters. That is our advantage as well. Because I know that in Latvia, and especially in our area, there are excellent youngsters. We know that they are very smart, very targeted. There are two boys working with us previously that later got awards on national level in different competitions. They quickly learned everything that we offered, and they were very helpful. All of these events that we organize, both as NGO and as Water Sports Center, they all happen with support. For instance, in a festival swimming across the Daugo, we had 75 swimmers. So imagine what work it was to youth that followed and what stress actually they had to follow by boats these swimmers, and what great work they did. We do very different events. For instance, last season we had the chamber choir concert. We had different lectures. We had flamenco music concert. We had blues and jazz and rock and roll as well, and many more. We even organized a rowing competition of two mayors of two cities, and the winner is among us. Andres, say hello to everyone. He was the best rower. Look, where else you can find a place in Latvia that two mayors of Skrīveri and Jaunjelgava have been competing. And I hope that Mr. Lidums will involve in this movement and will challenge some of his colleagues, maybe Mayor of Daugavpils, who knows. So, yeah, let's work on that. Yeah, Daugava River is so important for us. If we will not care about it enough, we'll lose inhabitants, we'll lose people. But we have noticed that there are many underground processes happening under the piece of soil. For instance, we noticed unusual shape of spring on our soil, checking that spring, it was warm, it was sandy, and it expels some yellow color sand. It means that probably under that Diva river, parallel to Daugava, there is some underground river flowing, because amount of water that comes out is rather impressive. We don't know these geological processes. Nobody can actually tell it. But it means that probably masses of Aizkraukle waters are moving direction to us. And therefore, I'm really glad to be here and to express my gratitude to all the persons involved that have been caring and will be caring about water quality, tackling pollutions, because it's a space of living to our next generations. And you know that Skrīveri is called a green land according to popular book. And I wish to keep this land the same green for next generations. Thank you. Thanks, Yanis, for this great wish for future. And I would like to say in 1 hour we'll continue with a very important event because we'll look at Eco School of Aizkraukle Regional, about their vision, and we will announce results and we'll award winners of children's drawing. But now let's take a break and let's see each other 1 o'clock.
Welcome back, everyone. In the event, in the conference, Make Invisible Visible, and I see we have so many other faces that have joined us for the second part of the conference, and I am glad for that. So, groundwater, making invisible visible. I think one of the best ways to explore the invisible and the unknown is by going to expeditions. That was exactly what was done by 30 students from eco-councils. And they went to historical polluted areas, Dzelzceļa 10 in Aizkraukle, which we discussed very extensively today, and they could also broaden their knowledge about pollution and promote the responsibility feeling for their locations, for their municipality and the environment. It is very good that we are telling about this responsibility aspect to young people. And then they had a task to come up with a recommendation for the solution what to do with historically polluted area. Let us now find out what were the ideas. I see people being very worried, but we will support them with our warm welcomes and applause. Let us welcome the presentation team of the first idea, Aizkraukle Municipality Secondary School. Eco School Coordinator and representatives from the school. Let us applaud once more for them to be more brave to come over here. Hello. We are Aizkraukle Municipality Secondary School representatives. Now I will give floor to the girls who are going to present their ideas. Hello, my name is Patricia. I am Sabine, and we are from Aizkraukle Municipality Secondary School, from Eco Council, and our idea is the green road, or the green path. I don't know how to switch slides. Here we see a couple of our ideas, but only some of them are going to be implemented. These are the conditions, and there are also limitations that this territory is not going to be used for industry, but it is going to be a park which will help the society to improve the life quality. Here we see several activities on the slide which are split into certain activities. This is all in one larger common territory, and for each of the activities we can tell separately. So, BMX track. It is suitable for any people of any age. On this track, you can gain new interests, new hobbies, and for this track, you do not need to maintain it. Then, like an ice rink, it is a pond in summer and skating grounds in winter. And then there's recreation park. It is for families together, for children to play, especially for picnics. Skiing, hill or facility, somewhere you can go and also ski. Thank you for your attention.
Palieciet uz skatuves.
Please remain on the stage. It's not going to finish this quickly. Let us applaud for Patricia and Sabine from the Aizkraukle Secondary School, but you will receive the presents. Now, this is going to be given to you by the Deputy State Secretary of the Ministry of Energy and Climate and also Program Director Christoph Lehti.
You are welcome to come to the stage to give the gifts to the girls.
Once again, let us applaud. And I understand this is not easy.
Noteikti arī uztaisam fotografēšanos.
Definitely let's take pictures.
Pirmajiem ir visgrūtāk.
They are the first ones. That is why it is the most difficult moment, especially for them.
Katram būs arī jāfotografē.
So each of them will need to take a picture. And by the way, all ideas are going to be transferred to the municipality for us to know which of them will be able to be implemented. And we are moving on very quickly to the next presentation that is going to be presented by Andrejs Upītis School representatives Danita Podvinska, Katrīna Gaņina, Līva Survila un Elīna Pantelēva. Andrejs Upītis Skrīveri Secondary School. Hello. We are from Andrejs Upītis Skrīveri Secondary School. And today we're going to present about historical pollution site in and the place of reclamation we have. We're going to be talking about the vision we have, what kind of objects we plan to implement in this area, and also probable sponsors we could attract. We are going to have interactive park, Aizkraukle Municipality, Daugava River Animal Planet, Animal World. It's going to be Aizkraukle Dzelzceļa Street 10. It's going to be interactive and interesting for all ages, age groups. And what objects we might have in our park is the bicycle track and also a path where you can find out about animals. Then we also plan that there could be some kind of a stage, little stage, because this place would be very beautiful right next to the Daugava River, and that is why in summer there could be several concerts or events ongoing. It is very close to the city and it would not be any problem for the city because it's nearby. Then there could be also park of food trucks and everybody could offer tasty food. Something doesn't work. As well as this territory is very large. That is why we could plant a small forest. And we would definitely need children playground to have some interesting and educating objects where to spend free time. Also, there could be book exchange point. As much as we know, there is not one book exchange point in our territory. Then once again, we could have a recreational area for families. Here you can see like a mood board, which could be located in this territory. One comment there, if you see the eagle or the bird, that is the idea that we could have like one of the fish from River Daugava, and you could put it together from some elements that are cut out from wood. And so, once again, various recreational areas and dirt bike tracks, and also for bicycles, the parking, interactive games, for it not to be boring both from children and adults. And we have also thought about the sponsors. This territory is located right next to the hydroelectric station Pļavini, which belongs to, or Latvenergo is right next to it. That's the facility of Latvenergo, and that is why they could get involved. And of course, Latvian forests, Latvijas valsts meži. They have also program like Mamma Daba. They have several parks in Latvia, many parks like Tervete Park. They have also been sponsored. They have sponsored various such projects, and Getlini, the company, could also sponsor the project. The companies that are supporting the eco project. So, and these are the places where we obtained our images. This is the Pinterest board. So all the images that we took were from Pinterest. That is why we need to provide this reference. And also we have created our board. This is why you can have a look at it on your own. Thank you for your attention. Thank you very much for representatives of Andrejs Upītis Skrīveris Secondary School. We will also give presents to them. And I think these are so creative ideas, playgrounds, and others. So, and also the section about sponsors, some of them you already smiled. So it is valuable. We can take pictures. Let's look at the photographer and let us smile, and thank you for your ideas. Once again, let us applaud. Please let us applaud.
Few of us. Teacher. Yes, it's a is a
And of course, very important, as it says, is the teachers. One very important part of all of this is the teachers. Thank you to all of them. And then their vision on the development of the remediated, historically polluted area. These are the children that are going to present their ideas from Pļavini Secondary School. Pļavini Secondary School. We are from Eco Council of Pļavini Secondary School, and our idea is the Energy and Arts Outdoors site. So here we have, this is the list of the arts park we have in Latvia. One is in Kurzeme region, also with the author being named, and also we have the arts park in Aizkraukle. There is a collection of rare plants, various installations. Also there's Girts Brumson's arts park, where he has his artwork being exhibited. Then there's another one, Arts Park Mobile Museum, the next season. Imagine the place where art and energy meets, the place where everyone can experience innovations and recreation at the same time. It's the place where artists can exhibit their artwork, or people can go there to have a rest. In this place, they can find out how do you make energy, how you use energy, and the artists would share with their experiences and artwork. And locals could use this as a place to meet each other, to spend time, to get inspiration. The tourists would then think that Aizkraukle is not just a place, a destination with history and nature, but as a place with modern and interactive environment. Also, with this project, we would like to promote green thinking and sustainability. As we implemented this project with artists, we do not have one vision that we can present to you, but we have accrued images from around the world for inspiration. This is solar energy Son Umbra. It is bright and it is being powered by the sun energy. This is from New York. This is once again solar energy powered glass arts installation. Pearl Avenue in San Jose, California. This is environment installation Water by Didzis Jaunzems, which is on the beach of Viļaka Lake. This luminescent sun concentrator from Port Phillip Bay. This is the wind pavilion on the beach in Liepāja. This is Alexander Seftimovskis and interactive artwork Vrtej, rotation in Skopje. And this here is the system in Andorra. And this is the teacher. This is the idea, or the author of this is the teacher. Energy loves movement everywhere and always. Thank you so much. This was a very original idea from Pļavini Secondary School. Now, it looks like you are passionate about this idea because you very well actually characterize. So what would be the artwork you could put there? What would you like? Personally, I don't know. You have to look at what kind of artists were available. I think anything interesting, exciting for any local. Well, I would like for all of us to be as passionate for the territory development. And please take a picture. This is for this great work we have done all together. And Aiga Berzine, the teacher, thank you very much for this assistance once again. So this is how we very, very rapidly move on. This is going to be the conclusive idea from the pupils. This is from Aizkraukle Secondary School with a really big team. Madara Zavela, Kristians Niks Uzliņš, Kristaps Logins, Rīga Balgavla Junior, Zana Birnika, Agnija Vuškāne, and Ieva Brutāne. This is Aizkraukle Professional Secondary School representatives with their idea. So let's see, what is Aizkraukle? Aizkraukle for me is my home. But where is home? Home is where there are our loved ones. And we, the Eco School, which loves animals, we have created our own vision. If there's a home, if there's a house, there's something soft and fluffy in it. Somebody you can pet, and and all the problems disappear. And our vision thus is the park for animals. Hello everyone from Aizkraukle Professional Secondary School. My name is Ieva, Kristians Līga Junior, Agija, and Kristaps. And we created the idea. In this polluted area, after the remediation, to create a dog park. Historically polluted area, Aizkraukle Dzelzceļa Street 10, now they include the work for cleaning it up to create it safe and usable. Our idea, as I said, is the park for dogs, or dog park. So after remediation, we thought we could create a dog park there for pet lovers, for animal lovers, for someone who truly loves their dogs, as our teacher said. If they want to spend time with them, and in Aizkraukle you don't have such park, you can only go on the street, or maybe go somewhere next to by the river. And what is it going to impact? Dog parks is a secure environment for both their owners and dogs themselves. And it is next to the river Daugava. It is such a beautiful place. No other place so beautiful to spend time with your pet. Social possibilities, opportunities. In Aizkraukle currently there is no such place where people could go and socialize, but this would be exactly the opportunity for us to go there, meet new people with their pets, and enjoy time together. Here you can see several ideas we've had, how we would implement the idea that dog park, what would there be, what kind of obstacles or paths for the pets. We would watch them and enjoy our time together with them. And in the end, I'd like to say that overall dog parks is an amazing, great idea in our view, because it does bond people with their pets, with the animals, and also with other people. And so this is what we are missing in this world, is socializing, but not just sitting on the phone. we as Eco School undertake to also work with remediation work as much as possible. We can help because if we can, we have an idea that we could actually be, for example, creating these paths, or maybe we could recycle something or create a barrier or obstacle for pets and dogs to jump over. Thank you. Thank you very much for your attention. Great. Many thanks. Madara Zavala, Kristians, Kristaps, Liga, Junora, Agneja, Eva, and all of you. Thank you. And please receive your gifts. And then we'll have a family photo.
Thank you for visually also.
So you're Aizkraukle professional. Yes. Sorry, I was once mentioned that it's a different town or city school, but this is Aizkraukle Professional Secondary School. So now, the ideas we've seen today, it is an example how we can do so much together. I think we could actually put these ideas together. BMX track, park for dogs, parks and recreational areas for families. But now, it's time. It's the moment when we can award the winners of the competition for drawing competition. We received from 5 schools: Pļavņi Secondary School, Aizkraukle Art School, Aizkraukle Municipality Secondary School, Setse School, and Jaunjelgava Secondary School. By the way, most were received from Pļavņi Secondary School. And so this was to draw attention, raise awareness on the importance of the water. And I think this aim was also achieved because there were such topics like groundwater importance in food production for ecosystem sustainability and for health promotion. And once again, I will ask Kristaps Lehte and everyone, thank you so much for participating and the teachers for involvement. But now it's time to give awards to the winners of this. And we are also going to have them in groups. The first group is grades 1 to 4. And the third place, but the third place we have 2 contenders, then one gets this place and another one. Daria Bolshakova, first of all, Aizkraukle, 3rd grade. Please come on stage. And Davis Korotkovs. He's also receiving the 3rd place. Congratulations. And this is Davis also coming here for his prize.
They featured together with you, Bar. They're both the 3rd place. So congratulations to both of them.
Congratulations. So we have a picture. Beautiful. You can actually remain on stage. We will have... And the 2nd place in grades 1 to 4, Miks Mucenieks, Aizkraukle Municipality Secondary School, grade 4. And his work we see now on the background. These are the photos with winners so far. And now, I announce that the winner in the group of grades 1 to 4, the first place gets Adrians Kaminskis from Pļavņi Secondary School, grade 4. Here we see his work. It's very deep meaning. You can ask later Adrians what was he thinking about, but what does it goes to show that he understands the importance of it, and that is why Adrians once again, let us applaud and everyone. And so this is all. Let's just look now at the photographer. Thank you so much. Now you can go and take your seats. Go back, take your seats, and thank your parents and teachers and supporters. Now, grades 5 to 9. Now, third place in this category goes to Laura Mironova. It looks like she's confused but happy. Laura Mironova, Pļavini Secondary School, grade 9. This is her work. This is how you can follow. These are angry fish at first, but then happy fish. Let us take a picture. Laura, please stay on stage. You will wait for the others. Daniela Shumkova, second place. We see her work. Somebody fishing there. We can ask also Daniela, what did she think about, or what does this work mean? Also, in the second group, grades 5 to 9, the first place is won by Daniela Romanovska, also from Pļavini Secondary School, but she's a 9th grader. So Pļavini Secondary School was indeed so active, and they have obtained all the highest awards and places. And also, let us applaud to the winners of this group. Once again, now this third group, grades 10 to 12, and the third place is won by Renate Onžāne from Jaunjelgava Secondary School, grade 11. Let's hope.
She's not here, so she's not here, but we will definitely give her the prizes.
We'll definitely give her the prize. And now the second place in this group is Viviana Jaunzeme of Pļaviņu Secondary School, grade 11. Her work is also now on the background. I see you can see very well what is exactly in the hearts and minds of young people. Of course, let us also take a picture together. Now, the first place in this group, Keita Kristiāna Brūniņa, this is Pļaviņi Secondary School, grade 11. But Keita is not here. Viviana, are you going to take this prize to her? Thank you for everyone, and also you, Viviana, and thank you so much. Zana Grieve and Christopher Liechti also. But that's not all. First of all, I want to say thank you so much to the teachers who assisted, who supported their children. But what about? So there is also going to be another prize. We would like to give the prize of like an affinity award or choice award from the ministry. Victoria, once again, please come over on stage. This is from State Secretary of the Ministry. Special thanks to Victoria. This is from the minister. Thank you so much for this very beautiful artwork. Definitely take a picture with the work itself. It's all official. Now, once again, thank you so much. But that's not all, because the Embassy of Switzerland also have their awards, their prizes too. Alice Zvidriņa from grade 1 of Sece Secondary School. This is work by Alice. This is what we've been seeing it now the whole day. Alice is also surprised, it seems like that.
So you did a very creative and nice collage. On behalf of the Swiss Embassy, congratulations.
Viņš saka, ka tev bija ļoti skaists un krāsains darbs par tēmu. Viņš saka, lielu paldies un arī tevi apsveic. Paldies, tā ir Alise, kas iegūs vēstniecības simpātijas balvu.
This is Alice once again, and we have a couple more people that are going to receive these prizes as sympathy award. It is from Aizkraukle Secondary School, 3rd grade. Let us try to guess what is the genre of this work. Definitely very creative, very much attention to detail, and this is Roy.
Congratulations, Roy. It was very colorful and creative. Thank you very much. Should I hold it for you?
Lielas paldies Rojam par piedalīšanos konkursā.
Thank you, Roy, for participation. And it's great that they have these sympathy awards from Switzerland Embassy. But we have more. Sympathy award from Swiss Embassy, Elizabeth Stankiewicz, grade 8 from Klavini Secondary School. That is exactly the story about the wells. We've heard a lot on the first part of the conference, and she had shown it very well. What is actually going on there and how to avoid it?
Congratulations. Because we chose this piece of art because it's very, very topical. Thank you so much. Great piece of art. Thank you.
Jā, šo darbu viņi izvēlējās, jo tas ir tieši tēmā iekšā, kā jau es minēju, pirmajā konferences daļā.
Yeah, this is very topical, and this is exactly what we talked about in the first part of the conference. That one more prize to Evita Pujāne from Pļaviņa Secondary School, grade 7. It's a sympathy award, very graphical, very finely detailed work. It's like
this is a very nice technical, spot on display of art. Thank you so much.
Jā, piekrīts Šveices pārstāvs arī, ka tas tiešām ir
agreed, definitely very technically precise work, very graphic. That's what Christopher also says, and very precisely drawn. And to conclude, this is the Sympathy Award from Swiss Embassy to Keita Kristiāna Brūniņa from Pļaviņa Secondary School, grade 11. Unfortunately, she's not here today, but this is her work. This is the main work which has been on the leaflets and visual representation of this event today.
choosing it.
Thank you for, she's not here, but still, this just reflects on everything, right? On the invisible, on the water, on creativity. So it just ticks all the boxes. Thank you so much.
Jā, tiešām visa šajā zīmējumā var redzēt visu to, par ko ir šodien.
Thank you once again. We can see everything, what this event is about, and also Swiss Confederation, Embassy, and Zane Grīva. To you, the State Secretary Deputy of the Ministry of Climate and Energy, once again, let us applaud and thank you for all your support. And of course, thank you. Thank you so much to everyone who participated in the competition, to all the teachers who supported their school children, and of course to all the guests of the event today. Today's conference shows us how topical, how important this topic is, and how we become more knowledgeable and how we can save our water from the pollution, from further pollution, and we do everything that in our ability. And I also invite you to follow the implementation of the program, because in 2027, let us meet all once again in the midterm when we can see the results already of the project.